Yeah, that's definitely a challenge to keep the tension in the strap when you're reheading a dia. The trick is to actually build tension very slowly. You don't want to have to pull really hard to get tension. You want to pull the slack out as many times as you can until it starts getting really tight. But ultimately, at the end, when you're trying to get the tension out of that one knot, you can lose it a little bit. But you just have to be patient. And even once I get all the tension I want, I still let the drum sit for a couple of days or even a week and then pull it again. It takes weeks, or even sometimes it took a couple of months for me to get the tension correct on this one dia that I was using. And it honestly, it's a smaller drum. It's like a 5.5. And I didn't like the sound of it at all when I pulled it and got it balanced and everything. But after about a month, it started to open up, and I wasn't even playing on it. I was just letting it stretch out. So the secret is ultimately to have patience. It's not to get results right away. You'll never get results right away. You just have to be patient. Really, I find Baya reheading much less stressful than a dia head, honestly. Number one, you can get away a lot more with it not being perfectly balanced when you're pulling it, because there's a lot less tension on the head than there is a dia head, simply because it's a bigger drum. But it's also more forgiving. It's easier to pull tension in a Baya head if it's unbalanced in one spot than it is a dia. But that's why you have to be really patient when you're pulling a dia head, because the more patient you are and the more slowly you put tension into the head, the easier it'll be to keep it in balance. or make some changes if you need to. But if you pull too fast, like maybe 2 or 3 times, and the head's really tight and it's just not balanced, um, you're not going to be able to adjust it very easily. But honestly, the Baya head is, I find it a lot harder to keep the head on while you're pulling it because it's so round and um, trying to keep this as simple as possible. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember the first time I changed my own head, and it was, you know, I was kind of nervous about it, but I knew that ultimately it wasn't going to be perfect, and it's better to learn than to not learn at all. Um, every head you've heard in any of my videos, I've actually changed by now. I've changed every single one of these, and I think 95% of the time they turn out really good. When they don't turn out good, it's because the head was a bad head. But that doesn't happen very often. But it depends on where you're getting, your pootie from, because, if you're getting it from a good trusted source or maker, then you can trust the quality of the head. But if you're just buying random, you know, heads, you don't know where they're from. You also don't know how old they are. Even good quality heads, um, if they sit there too long, they'll change. The reason I'm actually taking this head off, it's still usable. It's not great though, but I have to lend a pair of tabla to someone for this classical concert. It's not like a traditional tabla concert, so the tabla don't need to be concert quality as far as you know. But that being said, I also don't lend out concert quality drums unless it's like a real tabla artist. See, this head is definitely worn. Still works like to get sound out of. It doesn't always need to be perfect, but I figured I needed to rehead this Baya, and this is the loaner pair, the pair that I lend out if someone needs one for a classical music concert, not classical Indian music. But if someone's playing like a new music piece or something, like George Crumb has a piece where there's tabla in it. The tabla don't even need to be tuned to a certain note. It doesn't even say it. You don't even need to know how to play tabla properly to play some of those. So I figured, well, I'll just put this used head on the loaner pair that needed a head, and I'll rehead my nicer Baya. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And also, I'm going to polish this head or this shell. Yeah, that head is definitely finished, But for a pair of drums that you're loaning out to someone, as long as it still makes sound and you can still play on it, I find that okay. Um, Also, heads are very, they're prized. So I mean, like, I don't want to put brand new nice heads on a drum that I'm gonna lend to someone who isn't using it for a certain quality. They just need it to make some sound. So it'll work for now. Take it easy. Good night, dude. Okay. All right. See you later, everyone.